Hello everyone and welcome to today's BRL race. It's round 17 today at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. I'm your new PC Tier 1 commentator Jeb. It's just me today. I'm not sure if there'll be anybody else in the future, but for now you're stuck with me. So I've just started commentating here at BRL. This will be my first race, and from what I'm told, sorry, there seems to be a few technical difficulties. Sorry about that everyone, there were some minor technical difficulties, but we are back now. I've got the standings table up on my phone. So right now, before we start round 17, the Drivers' Championship is as follows. We have BRL Exia for Ferrari on 190 points, Hoopalicious in the Mercedes on 167 points, MRL Rubin in the Renault on 129 points, Julian for the McLaren for 124 points, Gorzieg for Renault 110 points, Cyfro in the Williams 94 points, Asylum Blitz in the Red Bull 71 points, Carl the Goat in the Alfa Romeo 59 points, Adrenaline GT in the AlphaTauri 51.5 points, Kaganus in the AlphaTauri 42 points, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Cappy in the Alfa Romeo 41 points, Mick Senna in the Mercedes 35 points, MRL Steph in the Red Bull 32 points, It's Venom in the Haas 30 points, Stars F1 for Racing Point 25 points, MRL Henners for Ferrari 20 points, and MRL Stryfium for Racing Point 4 points. So we are going to see today who can take the lead of the Drivers' Championship. There's a gap of 23 points between Hoopalicious and Exia. So if Exia does finish outside of the points and Hoopalicious manages to win the race, then the lead of the Drivers' Championship will change. And as you always in racing, you can never tell what might happen next. We could of course see Hoopalicious taking the lead of the championship, but we can't tell for certain. We are just waiting a few minutes to get the race underway now. Oh, hold on a second everyone, I seem to have named the stream Russia, not Japan, apologies. I'm just DMing the admin to see if he can take care of it. I do apologise, it's been a long time since I've commentated, and this is the first time I've ever streamed on PC, so I am a bit rusty, I do apologise. But here we are, the session countdown is now in progress, and the race is about to begin. We'll go in the live chat and see what people are saying. Right, everyone, could you give me your top 3 predictions for the race today? Here we go, and the session has started. So we've got the short qualifying session, followed by the 50% race. Of course, the Japanese Grand Prix is held at Suzuka Circuit, which is 5.8 kilometers or 3.1 miles long and features 17 corners. It's one of my favourite circuits on the Formula 1 calendar, and I'm really hoping today will show us some great racing. Here we are. Sorry, that's 18 turns, not 17. I've been thinking of the motorcycle circuit. The Royal Life race lap record is a 1 minute 30.983 for Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes in 2019, but we're looking to see if we can change that. Of course, the real life Japanese Grand Prix hasn't happened this year, so it'll be interesting to see if any of our Tier 1 PC drivers beat that in this race. According to the chat, it's going to be a dry race. And we've got our first car coming out of the pit lanes now. It looks like a Red Bull. Yep, that's the Red Bull. We're going on board with Julian's McLaren, and that was a bit of a netcode issue. It released the Williams right into his path. But MRL Steph's Red Bull is on his outlap, and I'm just going to change the audio settings because for some reason my master volume is on 2. But here we are on board with Steph's Red Bull, and he's spun. He's hit the inside of the curb on the last S-turn and he's spun the car around. Julian and Cyphro are now heading up to the incident, and there he is. Steph is rejoining. He's fine though, doesn't look to be any damage. He managed to save it before he hit the outside. So we'll just ride on Julian here for the outlap behind Cyphro. Of course, we've seen Steph spin. I'm not sure if anyone else has spun, but the tyres are going to be very, very cold as soon as the drivers pull out of the pits, so it'll be very, very difficult for the drivers to come to grips with the circuit until their tyres are rubbered in. Apparently there's no game sound. Sorry, further technical difficulties. And Exia has been disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. That's a disaster. He's come out onto the track and he's held up his teammate Hennes, and that's going to mean he's going to start the race from last on the grid. Hold on a sec, I'm seeing that there's no game audio. If you'll just bear with me a moment. Okay, there should be game audio back now. There was a minor issue, but we should be alright. Let me know. Okay, it's fixed now. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. But we're going to go on board now with Julian, who is on his hot lap. Of course, there's the rainbow colours of the halo for the FIA's hashtag WeRaces1 campaign. Here he comes down the straight into the turn just before 130R. I do believe that's an AlphaTauri ahead of him. Cypher sets the fastest lap so far, the banker lap of 1 minute 29.4, the AlphaTauri letting Julian through. Here he comes up to 130R. Hennes pulls to the inside. That was a bit of a hairy moment, but Hennes handled it well. Here comes Julian into the chicane. Powers out of the chicane, excellent. Down out of the final corner, over the little bump. DRS open, and it's a 1 minute 53.0. Unfortunately, he seems to have spun or made a mistake on his opening lap. So let's see what he has to offer for us in the second lap. There's very nearly a spin in the first S-turn. Here he comes up to the back of MEX Senna in the Mercedes, wrenching that steering wheel from left to right through the S-curves, and now he's coming up to the Degner. Passes MEX Senna lets him go. He's right behind Ruben, who has just finished his hot lap, and he passes Cal as well. That'll minimise the amount of time lost. Here he comes now into the hairpin, bit of a lock-up, and he shoots out of the exit now, past the Emirates board, and on the run down to the final corners before the main back straight and 130R. Here he comes now out of the corner, over the curb and onto the back straight. He's hitting an astonishing 196 miles an hour. He catches a little bit of the curb, and Striffium's retired from the session in the racing point. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see what happened there, but I believe that was some sort of crash, and Julian's come into the pits. Let's go on board with someone else. Let's have a look at Stars F1. Of course, Stars F1 has only raced once in the league, I believe, and his only race was a win. So I've been told that he's one of the fastest drivers in PC Tier 1, and we'll keep on board with him on his hot lap to see how he goes. So he's coming into the hairpin now. Exit, nice clean exit. Around the gentle sweeping curve and down the hill towards the final two corners before 130R, over the curb a little. Brakes, goes to the outside, perfect. Up the curb, kisses the curb on the exit, and up the straight he goes. .197 miles an hour on the speedo there as he goes through 130R and now brakes into the Casio chicane. Perfect exit there, and he's going into the pits. Here's MRL Steph, going rather slowly, or slower. Perhaps they're running a higher downforce setup, but no, into the pits as well. Adrenaline GT in the AlphaTauri, now coming through 130R, topping out at 194 miles an hour into the Casio chicane. A little bit wide there, he got a little bit of grass on the tyre, and I think he might also pull into the pits. That was a bit of a mistake. Wow, late pits, and he takes the cone with him into the pit lane. I'm not sure that's how you're supposed to enter the pits. He pulled a little bit of a Hamilton Germany 2019, you know, stay out, box, 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 and then he pulled in. But luckily it's paid off, and he's pulling into the AlphaTauri garage. Let's have a look and see who else is sitting there out laps. Okay, so Kegnis in the other AlphaTauri is now coming out of the final corner before the back straight. Taking it nice and easy, warming up the tyres, making sure not to overstrain himself. There's 9 minutes left in qualifying, so we're nearly halfway through. Up through 130R at a nice leisurely pace. Into the Casio chicane. And out of it. Now he's going downhill. Hits the DRS. And there he goes down the straight to start his hot lap. Can he improve on the 1 minute 28.1 he set earlier? It's a good tidy run through turns 1 and 2, and let's see how he tackles the S's. A little slow there, but very conservative. Good, good. And he's coming out of the S's now towards the Degner. Now under the Fanatec bridge. Into the hairpin he goes, braking all the way down into second gear. Accelerating out of the turn, past the Emirates billboard, and into the long, sweeping down right-hander towards the final 2 corners before the straight. Over the bumps. So that's 8 minutes 30, there's less than half of the time of qualifying left. Of course we have MRL, Stryfium and Exia. Exia got disqualified and Stryfium has retired from the qualifying session, presumably through a crash or some sort of unknown means. Oh, and that's pretty difficult for Kaganus. That's Hoopalicious. That was lucky he didn't manage to catch up through the Casio chicane, but here he comes now, DRS over the line, and he doesn't improve. But we'll go on with Hoopalicious now, who's just started his hot lap in the Mercedes. There's a lock up there coming out of turn 1. A little wide over the curb, going into the S's. It's very, very close to the gravel there. He just nailed it over the curb. Ooh, that was a very risky cut-in. He very nearly cut the corner. If I'm not mistaken, that could have been a corner cut. I'm not sure whether his tyre clipped the inside of the curb there or not. But here he goes through the hairpin. Lovely exit, a little bit of a counter steer there. And down into the long sweeping right-hander. Early. Now out of that corner and on to the back straight. Through 130R, perfect. Coming into the Casio chicane. Braking all the way down into third gear. It's a very, very nice run through the Casio chicane. What's it going to be as he comes up to the line, hugging the inside wall? That's pole position. 1 minute 26.4. Brilliant from Hoopalicious. Those Stars F1 now, who is coming up behind another slower car, maybe on his hot lap, sorry. I wonder if he might get a teensy slipstream bonus. He's coming up to 130R now, 197 miles an hour, just kisses the inside curb, sends it all the way to the outside there. He's right behind Cyphro. Beautiful run through the Casio chicane, down, hugging the inside wall, DRS open, and it's 1 minute 26.694, just short of Ruben's 126.603. Got Hennes on an outlap, Julian on an outlap. MRR Steph in the Red Bull pulling into the pits. Stars, of course, on his cooldown lap from his fastest. Hoopalicious also on a cooldown lap, so it seems that there's a bit of a lull before the drivers really go out to set their fast times, with only a few minutes remaining. Of course, this is a huge blow to Ferrari driver Exia, who is leading the championship, but has been disqualified from the qualifying session, and will have to start the race from the back of the grid. He'll have to stay out of the chaos that usually comes into turn 1 and battle his way cleanly through slower cars if he wants to retain the championship lead. Meanwhile, his main championship rival Hoopalicious, with a bit of a cut there, but it's alright, he's pulling into the pits, is qualifying currently in pole position, although there's still 4 minutes left of the session, so other drivers could qualify faster. Mick Senna's just started his hot lap. Here he comes into turn 1, into turn 2. I don't think there was a hint of lock up there, very nice. Coming into the S's, there's a car off. Kaganus nearly rejoins onto the track in front of the Mercedes, that was close. Here he comes now, into the final S's, coming out of the final long left-hander over the bumps. Oh wow, that was close, but well kept within the curbs. Under the bridge, and here braking into the chicane, coming out of second gear all the way through, down into the long right-hander. Oh, Julian has set the fastest pole time, a provisional pole of 1 minute 25.95. Let's see if Mick Senna can get anywhere close to that. Gorzieg on his outlap. He's the only driver apart from Hennes not to set a time so far. Hennes still in the pits. He's going to have to go soon, otherwise he's going to miss his opportunity to set a lap time. And Mick Senna pulling into the pits. He must have made a mistake. He's going to have to rush out quickly if he wants to get a lap in before the end. Now the goat in the Alfa Romeo. He's on a hot lap coming into the Casio chicane, and that I think may be a corner cut. He just turned on a little too early. And yep, he's pulling into the pits for a final run. Kaganus has just started his hot lap. Of course, we saw him go off on, I presume, his outlap into the gravel. We saw him from Mick Senna's POV, but here he goes into the S's, and I think he could be having some trouble. Either that or I'm having the engine rev limiter bug, which Codemasters said they fixed. Let's switch to Ruben to get rid of that horrible sort of sound. Ruben in the Renault, he had... Oh, that was my acoustic foam falling off the window. Sorry about that. But here's Ruben now, going under the bridge in the Renault. He was provisional pole earlier with his 1 minute 26.6, but has failed to improve so far, and Hoopalicious and Julian have both outpaced him to pole position. Let's see if he can claw some positions back and get a faster lap time in. Julian has retired from the session. There wasn't enough time, I don't think, to go out and set another lap, or he has possibly crashed. Here comes Ruben up to the final corner, 130R, and then up to the Casio chicane. A bit of a lock up there. Not quite the perfect entry he hoped for, but he's hugging it to the inside through the final corner. DRS open, and he set a 1 minute 26.213. He goes second and pushes Hoopalicious back down to third place. Everyone seems to be on their outlap now. We're going to go on board with Stars F1 as he goes to finish his outlap. Coming round the hairpin now. Emerald Steph, I think that was the faster lap. He's set a 1 minute 26.7. There's a bit of a queue of cars here. Hoopalicious passing Adrenaline GT, and with his teammate Mick Senna in front of him. Stars F1 is behind all the chaotic traffic though. It'll be good for him. Cyphro has retired from the session. That'll be a definite P9. I don't know what that was. On my screen, Stars F1 spun, but apparently he's perfectly fine. No matter though, he's hit the DRS, and he's going down the straight. Of course, he's finished his outlap, and I've got the rev limiter bug, it seems. Everyone, of course, is now setting their hot laps. Apart from drivers who have already retired or crashed, everyone on track now is setting their hot laps as Stars goes through the S's. And that's qualifying over, so you've only got this lap to improve. Stars touches the curb, he's spun. Disaster for Stars. Let's go to Hoopalicious, who has one chance, and one chance only, to claw back pole position from Julian and Ruben. In real life, Mercedes is an absolute dominant car. Let's see if it achieves the same level of success. There's a little bit of a lock-up from Hoopalicious there. someone coming up the back straight, looking like it's going to be okay though. Here he comes, up to 130R, that's 195 miles an hour. Takes it nice and easy. Henners goes P3, just ahead of Hooperlicious. It's now or never. It's a good run through the Casio chicane, a little bit of oversteer on the exit. Down, and he hasn't improved. Hooperlicious, oh no, sorry, that was a bit of a lag. He has actually improved, gone pole, that's a 1 minute 25.844. Stars, of course, is going to be kicking himself. He's ruined his one chance at a hot lap, and now he's being pushed down the order by cars who are now finishing. That's Cal the Goat, who's gone P3, and Stars is retired from the session. Here we are then, you've got Hooperlicious on pole for the Japanese Grand Prix, followed by Julian, Cal the Goat, Ruben, Henners, Stars F1, MRL Steph, Mick Senna, Kaganus, Cyphro, Adrenaline GT, Asylum Blitz, Gorzieg, who sets no time, MRL Stryphium, who sets no time, and Exia, who was disqualified. Now that we've seen the qualifying lineup, chat, what are your predictions for top 3 today? Here we go then. The race is loading. It's an overcast day, but I've been told in chat that it's not going to rain. We'll just have to hope that's true. Cars are now loading onto the grid. They're making a bit of a weird motion in the background. Some cars are jumping. They must be very, very excited to race. Hooperlicious in chat says Grazie ragazzi. Of course, he put it on pole today. So excellent work from him. So the backup timer has started now. We've got 20 seconds before the session starts. Here we are, everyone's loaded in, and here we are on the grid for the start of the race. Predicted pit stop strategies come up, so you could have a soft to hard with pit stop on lap 9, or you could have a soft to medium. The weather is looking rather threatening. I wonder if rain, contrary to predictions and what the chat's been saying, I wonder if rain might play a chance in this Grand Prix. Kaganus has been disqualified from the formation lap. Not sure why that is. Here we are, of course, championship leader Exia in the Ferrari, getting disqualified. Bit of a catastrophe. Not sure what happened there, but the game did say he was disqualified for stopping in pit lane, and I have heard that if you spin or have a bit of a crash in the pits, then that can cause your car to be disqualified. I'm not sure why the control scheme error keeps coming up, but I do apologise for that. Hooperlicious, of course, on pole, sitting on 1 minute 25.844. Julian was only just over a tenth behind that, with Carl, Ruben, Henners, Stars, and Steph. And Stryphium and Exia have been disqualified. Oh, there's a collision. Henners has crashed into Cal the Goat, who has also been disqualified from the hot lap. It looked like, from what I saw, that Henna's just sort of dove across and took out Cal. Why he would have done that on the hot lap is a little confusing, but nevertheless, I hope that won't have had too much of an effect on their tyres. We're going to be riding on board with Gorzieg for the start of the race. He's in 13th position, so he should give us a good angle on the start of the chaos. There we go, and we're off. It's a good start from X here, who moves up to 13th, up the inside of Gorzieg, and he moves down to 14th. Adrenaline GT. Oh, there's a car ghosted in the wall. That's Kaganus. He's damaged his front wing. He's come off. That's a bit of a disaster. Now, of course, we're going to be looking at the tyres. So we've got Kaganus on the softs, and the only two drivers who are not on the soft tyres are Stryfium in the Racing Point and Exia in the mediums. So they'll be going from mediums to hards, lap around 13 to 17 according to AWS Insights, which is a good deal more helpful in this game than in real life. Hoopalicious, of course, defending his lead. Not too many position changes. Oh, there's a mistake actually. Emerald Steph has spun at the exit of the hairpin, and he's dropped right back around. I don't think there's any wing damage. I can't see any. He's just lost a lot of time. We'll see as he comes around here. Nope, doesn't seem to be any wing damage on his Red Bull. Just a case of hurt pride and a little bit of lost time. Hoopalicious, of course, nicely leading this race. Locks up a little there. And so does Julian behind him. But Hoopalicious is coming into the first lap, still leading the race. Adrenaline GT gets passed by Gorzieg, out of the chicane I presume, and down the back straight. DRS is now enabled. Adrenaline GT though will have DRS and slipstream. Tries to make a move work up the inside of Gorzieg, doesn't quite work, but Gorzieg goes wide, loses a bit of time. There's a ghosted car up ahead of a silent blitz. I'm not sure, there could be an internet issue. Kaganus, of course, going into the pits now to fix that damaged front wing. That's a shame to sort of take him out of contention for this race, but unfortunately his mistake at the exit of turn 2, that sort of forced his hand. Hoopalicious, of course, still leading here. Let's see, Ruben is right behind Stars F1. Stars F1, who's gone on from P6 to P3. Excellent start from him. Here comes Ruben, down the back straight. Of course, he'll have DRS. Oh no, he's not got DRS. He'll have DRS though on the main straight, the home straight to Stars. Oh, there's a lockup, he's gone wide. Cal the Goat sees his chance, very nearly takes it, bumper to bumper racing here. Julian sets the fastest lap, of course. He's got DRS and slipstream now on Hoopalicious, but Ruben's got it on Stars. There's a bit of a queue developing. Stars going a little wide, I think, there. Cal sticking with the back of Ruben through the S's. He's getting very close to the Renault as Exia loses 2 positions. I'm not sure whether he went off, went wide, but Stryfium looks to be going round the outside of Exia's Ferrari. He's got the move done. I think Exia backed off a little there to let Stryfium through. Didn't see the need to contend and might take that position back, but I'm not sure what Exia was doing there. Regardless, we're going back to Cal, who's very close to Ruben. He might be making a move up the inside into this next corner. He is, there's contact. He's forced Ruben wide onto the curbs, but no, he's made it work, and he's pushed Ruben down to P5. Oh, and Ruben has gone off. That's a mistake to make. Disaster. Hennes shoots through into P5 with Mick Senna up to P6. It's a disaster for Ruben. He's going to have to let those positions go, and it's all gone wrong for him here, just on lap 3. Gauzier going wide there through a 130R, holding off Asylum Blitz in the Red Bull. Gauzier's been doing very well. He's gained 4 positions on the opening lap, from P13 to P9. Although Asylum Blitz is going to have DRS and Slipstream open. Can he get him into the first corner? Nope, he wisely backs off. There wasn't enough room to make that move. Adrenaline GT has been passed by MRL Steph, who we know lost a lot of time. He seems to have caught back up to the pack. And he's right behind Exia now. There's a bit of a gap developing between Ruben and Cyphro. Ruben, of course, will be hungry to get back the positions he lost with that off in the final corner before 130R. Julian, of course, still battling for the lead here. He's just a little too far behind Hoopalicious to make the move stick, but he'll be hoping to get a great exit so he can slipstream all the way up the back straight and maybe make a move into 130R. Yep, he's got the DRS on overtake. And there's a yellow flag in Sector 2, I don't know what that is. There's a few position changes. I think that may have been Asylum Blitz because Stryfium's passed him into 10th. Exia has passed Asylum Blitz. There's definitely a loss of momentum there going into the corner. They're going to go side by side nearly. No, Asylum Blitz backs out. Steph with a brilliant move up the inside there. Adrenaline GT, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. There's a lot of position changes out on track. I can't keep up here. But it's MRR Steph, that fantastic overtake, coming back from 14th and about 15 seconds down to catch up to the back markers now. Exia and Stryfium, of course, are on the slower medium tyres, so I'd expect the faster soft tyre drivers to catch up to Stryfium now. He'll be holding them up, and Steph will be looking to get past Stryfium as fast as possible to make sure the medium and tyres don't affect his race too much. We go in the slipstream, into the hairpin. He's getting close, very, very close. He's going to need a really good exit here. Exia, of course, dropping behind. Asylum Blitz is faster in the Red Bull and softer tyres than Exia. And I think it's the same situation with Steph and Stryfium. There's just not enough time to pass right now. Wow, that's very close. Steph very nearly tapping Stryfium on the back there, giving him a love tap. And he's catching up, he's slipstreaming. Might he make a move into 130R? This is Stryfium's position to lose. Going into the Casio chicane. He doesn't try and make a move. There's nearly contact. Stryfium goes wide. I'm not sure whether that was because of contact or not. But Ruben's gone into the pits. Not sure why. He's gone onto the hard tyres early. The hard tyres, of course, will probably be able to go to the end of the race here. But hold the phone. That's Stryfium getting around Steph. And Steph getting around Stryfium. I've missed that little exchange. And Steph overcorrects slightly and loses a lot of time to Stryfium in that little battle. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. That's Asylum Blitz who's gone off into the gravel. Not a good day for him. Stryf, of course, is back on Stryfium's case after that mistake in the exit of Turn 2. The soft tyres really are much faster to the mediums. It's a testament to how much the Red Bull has caught up. There's a bit of a back-end kick out there from Stryfium. The Red Bull is homing it on the rear of that racing point. Surely he's got to pass him at some point. Little kick up. Oh, there's understeer. Steph has gone wide a little deep into the corner. Here they come up 130R. He's locked into the slipstream, but he's just too far back to get the full effect. Here we go into 130R, and I think this chase might just be a little done with that mistake from Steph. The mediums are really coming into their own, and this is the sort of time where the softs are starting to go off their grip levels. They'll be thinking about pitting in 2 or 3 laps. Of course, there's a battle at the front. Steph getting the move done on Stryfium. Steph goes wide, and Stryfium gets the position back. Disaster from Steph, who gets the position back twice. Cal the Goat in P4 getting a 3-second time penalty. Sitting behind Stars, although the nearest driver to him, Henners, is nearly 5.5 seconds behind. There's a real gap between 4th and 5th developing. There's of course the battle between Hoopalicious and Julian at the front, of which Julian is winning right now. I wouldn't put it past Hoopalicious to catch up though. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. There doesn't look to be any position changes. That's a silent blitz going off again. He's spun around completely. He's on the grass. Kaganus could nearly be overtaking him. He's pulled back onto the road though, and he's lost a lot of time. I think his race might as well be over. Adrenaline GT going off into the wall. It's a disaster for the AlphaTauri driver. That's Julian coming into the pits now. P4, and he's dropping back. Hoopalicious leads, but he's going to need to pit, and that's a 3-second time penalty. He just went a little wide on the curb. We witnessed that, and that'll be a time penalty for multiple warnings. There's another yellow flag in Sector 2. They're happening so fast I just can't keep up. That's a silent blitz, finally losing that 14th place to Kaganus, who has kept it clean while silent blitz has not. Cal the Goat riding right on the back of Stars' racing point. He could be within an opportunity to make a move. That's 3 cars, 2 of which are in the top 3, who now have racing penalties. That wasn't a good exit there from Cal, a little bit too much overcorrection, and Stars has just got the bit of traction he needed on the exit to break away. That's another penalty for Steph and Exia. I believe even on the same corner, that's how close it was. Julian overtaking Scythro on hard tyres. Scythro is on the softs, and the soft tyres are going to be falling to bits now. There's only going to be 1 or 2 laps left in them. Going to stay on board with Hoopalicious. Does he pit this lap? There's a little bit of a lock-up into the Casio chicane. Coming out of it. No, he doesn't pit. He's staying out another lap. So's Stars. So's Cal. So's Henners, I believe. Staying very close to that pit wall though. Gauzy made his way up to P8. He's stayed clean and consistent, and now he's banging on the back of Cyphro's rear wing. That's Stryfium going down the order. He's been passed by Steph. Steph going into the pits now. Asylum blitz with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We'll go on board with Gauzy as he attempts to catch up to Cyphro. Going through the S's. They're very evenly matched. The gap doesn't seem to be coming down at all. Under the bridge they go, very close in the braking zone there. Gauzy has to back out a little bit to avoid hitting the back of Cyphro's car. Coming out of the hairpin, and Cyphro is well and truly getting away. Let's have a look at Cal and Stars. These two have been battling for a few laps now. Stars in P2, who started P6. Excellent driving from him. But here we are into the Casio chicane. And Hoopalicious pits from the lead. Cal pits, and that puts Stars F1, who had a disastrous spin in qualifying and started in the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. Adrenaline GT, last place. He's just come out on the hard tyres. Behind Asylum Blitz, these two are well behind. But this is a bunch of cars coming into the pits. Julian setting the fastest lap on hard tyres. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. That's Asylum Blitz retiring finally from the session. Bit of a disastrous race. Everything that could go wrong for him did go wrong. We'll just have a look at the gaps as they evaluate now. But that's Gorzieg in P7. Cal the Goat coming out ahead of Cyphro and Gauzy into P5. There's a safety car, of course, I think, which has done really well for Hoopalicious and Cal, who have minimized a massive amount of position loss. Asylum Blitz has left the session. I don't know how I didn't notice that was a safety car. Apologies for that, but here we go. We've got Gauzy in P7, we've got Cypher in P6, and Cal in P5. That'll be a very close battle once the checkered flag drops. Cars, of course, are going to have to pit now on the soft tyres to maximise the amount of strategy, and the medium runners might be a little disastrous here. Kaganus, of course, pitting now. It's a real shame because this has effectively awarded the soft runners an efficient pit stop. Yep, Stars F1 now coming into the pits from the lead. Henners, of course, coming into the pits from second. Julian coming into the pits only after one lap. I wonder what's gone wrong there. Cal overtakes Henners out of the pits. He's going to be starting P3 at this restart. I'm not sure why the lap count isn't displaying on the new tired cars. Cal should be on a 1 lap old hard tyres by now, but for some reason that's not displaying. I do believe Codemasters is at work, not working again. But if we look at the race director, that's everyone now who's made a stop, and some people more than one, apart from Exia and Stryphium, who started on the mediums. They will be struggling though, because their pit window for the mediums is going to be around lap 13 to 15, so they're only going to get a few laps more worth out of their tyres before the checkered flag drops and we're ready to go again after the restart. There's not really much to commentate on, of course, in the safety car period. Stars F1, though, could be a contender for driver of the day. He's driven cleanly and well, and he's gone up from a grid position of P6 all the way up to P1. And a fortunate safety car means he's going to start leading now. I'm going to see if I can change these tyres to display the correct number. So let's have a look at the position change. So Stars F1, of course, he's in the lead. He's got 5 positions from qualifying. Hoopalicious, who qualified on pole, lost a position. Cal the Goat, who qualified P3. Standard, oh, that's Stryphium and Exia. Sorry, Stryphium and Ruben pitting now. Sorry to interrupt there, but here they come into the pits, perfectly synchronized. Who's going to get out first? I think it'll be Stryphium. Yep, it is. They're proceeding out of the pits now. Technically last, apart from the 2 AlphaTauris, who are quite a way behind due to unfortunate circumstances and early pit stops. Back to the position gains. Of course, Exia, it looks like he's gained 10 positions, but unfortunately that's because he hasn't pitted yet. So most of the positions he's gained is through pitting. Henners has gone up 1 position, Mixena up 2 positions, Julian down 5, Cyphro up 2, Gorziek up 4, Steph down 3, Stryphium up 3, Kaganus down 3, Adrenaline GT down 2, and Ruben, bit of a disaster there. He's going very, very slowly for some reason. He is dead last. I'm not quite sure why that is. Oh, Striffium. 5-second penalty for collision with Steph under safety car. Oh, unfortunate. That means Striffium is going to have, let me check the telemetry, I'm not sure whether he had a penalty. No, he didn't. He's only got 5 seconds. But Steph has 8 seconds, Adrenaline GT 3 seconds, and all other runners, Exia, Carbogoat, and Hoopalicious with penalties all have 3 seconds. There's a massive slowdown there. How that resulted in no contact, I do not know. Bit risky, but bit of a Rubens Barrichello moment. Of course, Rubens Barrichello was famous for always slowing down on the safety car and forcing cars to move around him. Here comes Stars though, ready for the restart. He's going to be hoping Hoopalicious gets a poorer restart so he can hold the lead off the line. Of course this... oh no, the safety car's still out. I'm not sure how long it's been out, but surely this has to be the last lap. Ruben pitting again. What on earth is going on in the Renault garage? Oh, Steph, a penalty for a collision. They're all bunched up and the car has gone off. Disaster under the safety car. Those penalties will be having serious effects on people's races. That's Ruben coming out of the pits. He's now 32 seconds behind the safety car queue, and that gap is only increasing. Stars has spun under the safety car. Unfortunately, he's lost that lead. I'm not sure what's happening. Gorzier lets him back through to P6, but the damage has been done. Hoopalicious and Cal and Hennes are now your top 3. Sorry if I'm a little quiet here. There's just not a lot of stuff to commentate on now. Unfortunately, the safety car is still out, so it's a little boring to sort of comment the proceedings on. Gorzier with a penalty there. I do believe that's a contact penalty. Safety car finally coming in this lap. Let's have a look at the penalties. So Gorzier gets a 5 seconds as well now for contact. Steph has 13 seconds. His race is effectively done and dusted unless there's a serious uptick in form or a serious issue. But let's go on board with Hoopalicious for the restart, leading the restart, might I add. We've got Cal, of course, behind him. It looks like Hoopalicious has got an excellent start, leading away from Cal. Hennes on the faster mediums though. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3, and Adrenaline GT is stopped dead on the road. Not sure what that was about. Julian overtaking Exia. Cypher overtaking Gorzier. Gorzier, a little bit of contact. Here they go. That was a little aggressive from Gorzier, trying to go up the inside there. He's stuck on the back of Cypher's car. Whether or not he'll be able to overtake is another matter. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. What that's about is anybody's guess, but Hennes is catching up to Cal. Ruben overtaking McSenna. Of course, Ruben, I think, pitted twice under safety car. Bit of a disaster. He faded all the way down to dead last. But he goes round the outside of McSenna. Stars is dead last. This is all too much. I can't keep up. Gorzier's been passed by Kaganis, but Gorzier gets back up the inside. Brilliant move. Let's have a look at chat. Not too much of a difference though, but Kaganus right behind him. Hoopalicious sitting the fastest lap of the race. Let's switch to Hennes, see if he's made any inroads on Cal. Still hasn't. Cal, of course, falling back now. He's outside of Hoopalicious' DRS range. And it's possible, if Exia has another mistake, because he still has to pit, remember, that Hoopalicious could take the lead of the Drivers' Championship here in Japan. Gauzy now making his way through the grid. There might have been a bit of contact there. Stryfium was oddly slow. Of course, he's on the slower hard tyres, nearly causing contact there. He goes off, a little mistake, and Gauzy slips up the inside. Oh, and Stephs has left the session. He's gone around. Disaster. But there's a close battle here for P7. We've got Gauzy, Stryfium, Ruben, and Kaganus. Nearly contact there. Kaganus sort of tried to go around the outside, didn't work it out, and tried to dive up the inside at the last second. But Gauzy now stripping away. He's going to be hoping that his teammate Ruben can stay behind Stryfium a bit. Slow Ruben down so Gauzy can build up a gap. Stryfium, of course, is slower on the hard tyres, so it'll be easier for Gauzy to pull away. DRS has been enabled by race control after the restart. Julian sets the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 29.1. Let's have a look at him now. He's right on the back of Hennes here. Stars, of course, passing the spun out Steph. Stars is 17 seconds behind the rest of the pack, and what looks to be a very promising race from him has turned into a disaster. Stryfium slipping down the order. Kaganus looking to capitalise on that loss next. I'm not sure what that was about. The controller is clearly connected, but Stryfium goes onto the gravel a little. Bit of a mistake there. I wonder, is the pressure getting to him? Oh, Ruben! Ruben gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. His teammate Gauzy lets him through, but the damage has already been done. I'm not sure what that was about, but he's completely backed off. There's contact! Ruben and Kaganus are in the wall! Disaster! That's Kaganus with a 3-second time penalty. He's lost his front wing completely. I don't know what that was about, and they've pushed Gauzy off the track as well. Stryfium gets a penalty for a severe collision. Oh, that's catastrophic for Gauzy, for Kaganus. Man, oh, that's gutting. Ruben doesn't seem to have any damage. I thought I saw an end plate fly off there. Unless, of course, it wasn't Ruben, but Gauzy who sustained the collision. I think it may have been. He's lost front wing end plate. He's going to have to pull into the pits just after the safety car was announced, and I think that's his race pretty much over. Oh, a bit of a disaster. Here he comes now, hitting the cone and on his way past. Kaganus, of course, no front downforce, holding up Stars a little bit. In comes Exia for a set of softs. In comes Kaganus for a new front wing. Stars F1 gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I'm not sure what that was, but Stars seems to have teleported ahead of Kaganus. Oh, it's all going wrong here. Bit of a disaster for these backmarker sort of midfield cars. The only ones who seem to have got out of that lightly was Stryfium and Ruben, who Stryfium got a 5-second penalty but no damage, and Ruben got no damage, although I'm not entirely certain whether he was fully involved in that to start with, but that's Gauzy's race ruined. He's had to have an extra pit stop. He's coming out on soft tyres, and he's going to have to battle his way back from 10th place. Kaganus, of course, he's got a new front wing now. Stars F1 still behind, holding station on those hard tyres. Mick Senna coming up behind Stryfium. He's gained a lot of time. Of course, Mick Senna does not have a penalty, and Stryfium has 2, I believe. I'll check that. Yep. He has two 5-second penalties for a total of 10 seconds. Striffium, of course, seeing Mick Senna behind. Mick Senna, I think, might just be a bit faster, so Striffium is going to have to put as much distance between himself and Senna as he can. These hard tyres are going to go to the end of the race, I believe, so it's all here on the line now. Julian stuck behind Cal still, very, very close, but Cal on the hard tyres, 1 lap older, is slower, and so is Hooperlicious. Julian and of course Hennes on the mediums are going to have to shoot around Cal if they want to have any chance of challenging Hooperlicious for the race lead. That's Cal, that's the mistake that Julian could need. He's going up the inside, Cal is leaving the space, but no, Julian's tucked in behind. Here they go, Stars F1 overtaking Kaganus back for P11, but all eyes are on the Casio chicane. What a move! It's an absolutely fantastic move from Julian, making his way around Cal on the outside of the Casio chicane. Fantastic move, fantastic racing, and that's leaving Cal at the mercy of Hennes, who has DRS and is flying down the straight. Cal has gone around! Disaster! Cal has retired from the session, that's a huge wreck, and that's promoted Hennes to P3. I'm not sure what that was. He seemed to just lose grip on the inside of the corner, swerved, hit the inside wall and pinballed off into the gravel. Oh, that's a disaster. Cal was doing so well. Oh. Of course, Hooperlicious might be sweating a little now. Cal was his major water break, if you like, between himself and the medium runners of Julian and Hennes. Without Cal to slow them down, Julian and Hennes are going to be flying up the grid. Mick Senna still behind Striffium, of course. Striffium P6. Stars F1 gets a 3-second time penalty from multiple warnings. Of course, this race has gone from brilliant to bad for him. He's just dropping down the order. He's pitted again. I believe that's the 3rd or 4th pit stop he's made this race. Ruben, though, looks like he could make a move on Cypher on the back straight. Here they come side by side. Ruben's got the position. He moves across Cypher and it's done. Into 130R and Ruben holds the position off successfully from Cypher. Oh wow. Fantastic racing from Ruben, using the slipstream to its fullest advantage, and he just gets away. Look at that, he's streaming ahead of Cypher in the Williams. Senna, of course, doesn't really need to pass Striffium at all. Striffium has 10 seconds of time penalties and Senna has none. So theoretically, Senna could make a mistake, go into the gravel and still beat Striffium for position unless he gets penalties too. Unfortunately, Mick Senna's car seems to have the rev limiter bug on it, so I can't stay spectating that for too long. Striffium is behind Cypher now in the Williams. He's going for a move up the inside. And the move sticks. What a move by Striffium into P5. Brilliant. And that's Cypher now at the complete mercy of Mick Senna. Striffium will be hoping Cypher can hold up Senna for as much as possible. But Hennes has a 3-second time penalty. That was the one advantage he had over the rest of the top 3 runners, and now it's gone. Now he's on equal footing with them. That's a disaster for Hennes. He's really going to have to pull the cat out of the bag here to sort of push his way up to the front now. Mick Senna right on the back of Cypher though, going into the first lap. There's side by side. Senna gets the position. Cypher though still there down the inside. Cypher backs off though into turn 1 and lets Senna have the position. There's no point fighting that. I'm not sure if Cypher is going to be able to nurse these mediums to the end. He's already losing pace and position. And he is one of only 2 people on the track, the other being Mick Senna, to not have a penalty in the race. Keeping it clean could be the ultimate move to gain positions here by Mick Senna. Let's just have a look at the penalties. So Stryfium ahead has 10 seconds of penalties. Ruben ahead of him has 3 seconds. So if Senna can find a way around Stryfium, unlikely but possible, and close up to Ruben, he could have P4 here. Let's have a look at the fastest laps of the drivers though. So we have Hoopalicious, race leader, on a 1 minute 29.240. Julian in second place with the fastest lap of the race, 1:29.1. Hennes a 1:29.6. Stars F1 starts the fastest lap of the race just as I say that, with a 1:28.3. Ruben with a 1:30.2. Stryfium with a 1:31.6. Senna with a 1:31.3. Cythro with a 1:32 flat. Exia with a 1:31.2. Gorzieg with a 1:30.3. Kaganus with a 1:30.6. Steph with a 1:31.4, but of course he's disconnected now. Adrenaline GT with a 1:32.6. And Stars F1, the fastest car on track right now. Soft tyres on. He is in P13. He's a long way back, but at least he's got the fastest lap. Adrenaline GT gets past the disconnected car of Steph. That's Senna still on Stryfium with 2 laps older hard tyres. You've got to give it to Senna. He is keeping up with Stryfium really well. He's definitely got the pace to contend. But Stryfium's doing a great job of defending that position. I don't think that Senna is going to be able to capitalise. Although that doesn't matter because Stryfium has the 10-second time penalty. But as we saw there was a little bit of counter-corrective steering on the exit from Stryfium. That's opened up the door, I think, for Senna. He's right on his tail now. He's going to be trying to use the slipstream up the back straight. Oh no! A bit of oversteer on the exit, and correcting that dropped him behind. He's just lost that time he gained back. Disastrous, and the field is starting to spread out rather now as well. I've got to admit my voice is getting a little tired now, but still we press on. There's only 4 laps left in this race. Adrenaline GT going wide there. Steph's disconnected car passing him. And that's Hennes passing through the ghosts of lapped cars. Cyphro, I think, caught up to Mick Senna a little bit there. He dropped off a bit, but he's catching back up. Here comes Stars on the back of Steph. Easy as pie, he's going to get that position. I'm not sure if a disconnected car actually gives you slipstream. I'm sure it does, but it's not a problem though for Stars. He just flies around 130R and takes the position. Of course, he's only got Adrenaline GT to contend with now, as they're all heading into lap 24. Here we go. He's pulled out. He's got the move done. And he keeps the position ahead of Adrenaline GT going into turn 1. Senna, Stryfium and Cythro, the 3 S's, all still within DRS range of each other, although Cythro, actually saying that, has just dropped out of DRS range. So Stryfium and Senna looks to be the battle for the end of this race. The rest of the grid is starting to spread out a little. And of course Stars, who has just passed Adrenaline GT for 11th, is 18 seconds behind Kaganus, who's 12 seconds behind Gorzieg, who is himself is 24 seconds behind Exia. So that's a bit of a disaster for those 3. They've had great races and just dropped back, but there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Not sure what that was, but whatever it is, I don't think it was big. I can't see the result of that on any POVs. Looks like Striffium is going to be dropping back to 7th with Cypro and Senna both having no penalties. Hoopalicious gets another 3-second time penalty, although it's not going to matter at this length because Julian, who's the next car, has a 5-second penalty. So the 1 second gap to beat him is actually 6.5 seconds, so that's useless. But what could happen now is Hennes has a 2-second advantage on Julian and is only 1.7 seconds off of taking that advantage and running to P2. Whether or not he will make 1.7 seconds back in these last laps remains to be seen, but it is certainly possible. Hoopalicious comfortably leading in the number 24 Mercedes. He's nicely wrapped up this race. He had a pole position, and there was a bit of uncertainty with the safety car, but luckily enough he's wrapped it up and looks to be leading from lights to finish. That's another penalty for Striffium. 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. He tries to go back around the outside of Senna. Senna finally gets that position after so long, and Striffium has really dropped back. That's unfortunate, and he'll have 13 seconds of penalties now. Sector 2 is a yellow flag. I wonder who that might be. It's Kaganis. Kaganis has retired. I'm not sure why though. His car looks to be pulling back onto the track, but maybe he just bounced off. Yeah, his car's still driving, so I'm not sure why that is, but he's left the session. Oh, that's a shame. I hope that wasn't any unnecessary disconnect. But Striffium, of course, has really dropped off the pace of Senna now. He's lost over 1.5 seconds with that pass. Cypro still 2 seconds off the pace of Striffium, but of course he doesn't need to catch up. Striffium has that 30-second time penalty. 13-second time penalty, sorry. And he might actually get passed by Exia, who has a 3-second time penalty, and the aggregate gap there is just under 10 seconds. So I think Exia might actually beat Striffium and demote him to P8. We'll have to wait and see though. We're going into the penultimate lap now with Hoopalicious, who leads by 7.1 seconds from Julian, who of course leads Hennes by another 5.6 seconds, and then there's a big 17.5 second gap back to Ruben in the Renault. It's been a very action-packed race here in Japan, and as it closes out, and I need to take a drink of water after this race because my throat is very dry and my voice is a little bit strained. Of course I haven't done commentary in a while. I'd just like to thank you all for coming along today to watch this first stream of PC Tier 1. It's had its few shares of bumps and technical glitches, but hopefully we can iron those out for the next race. Of course, Hoopalicious now starting the final lap of the Grand Prix to the adoring cheers of the crowd here in Japan. He's taken those hard 16 laps from the start, and I've got to say, it's been a very, very solid performance from Hoopalicious. He totally deserves the win. He got pole position, of course, and despite what Ixia's sort of mishap in qualifying may have caused to his race lead, there's no denying that he defended it well, of course, from Julian. And yeah, he's done brilliantly here today to lead, and I think it's pretty much confirmed that he'll have the win here. Here he comes down the sweeping right-hander into the final two corners, of course, before the main straight and 130R. Taking absolutely no risks there, coming out of the corner onto 130R. He's in overtake mode using the last vestiges of ERS he has left in the Mercedes' tank, shooting down the straight into 130R, coming into the Casio chicane now. There he goes, down the hill, round the last corner, and that's victory for Hoopalicious in the Japanese Grand Prix. A brilliant race from lights to flag. Here's Julian, of course, coming in second from McLaren, and that's an unserved penalty, and that's going to, I think, put Hennes ahead of him. No, it doesn't, I don't think. Hennes retains his P3. Ruben coming up to the line behind the ghosted car of Steph in P4. Bit of a disastrous race for him, a few extra pit stops, and a victorious swerve over the line for Ruben ends up in a broken end plate. But it's been a great race from Mick Senna, who, if I'm not mistaken, has gained 3 positions. Striffium dropping down the grid, of course, thanks to his penalties. We'll see if Exia can manage to jump him into P7. And no, he misses out by just 1.4 seconds. Gauzier coming across the line. Gauzie's race was really good today. He started P13 and he was up in P6, P7, fighting well. Unfortunately, there was that crash with Kaganus and Striffium, and that's just put him back to finish P9. I think there's a lot of things he can take from today. He definitely had the pace to contend there. What a shame that that happened. But Striffium gets the game's driver of the day. If he hadn't had those penalties, of course, he would have finished much higher, P6. But of course, he didn't set a qualifying lap and got disqualified. Not disqualified. He crashed out in qualifying. So to come from P14 to 8th with all the chaos going on in this race, I apologise, 7th. That's fantastic. I think he's obviously my driver of the day as well. And he'll earn himself, I think, 6 worthwhile points. Other notable drives, of course, Exia from dead last on the grid to P15, and Mick Senna P8 on the grid to P5, Cyphro P10 on the grid to P6. Hooperlicious was your winner today, obviously from pole. Julian from 2nd place on the grid. Hennes 5th to 3rd, Ruben 4th to 4th, Mick Senna 8th to 5th, and all the way down the grid we've had Stars F1, who started 6th, finished 10th. Bit of a disastrous race for him. He was leading at one stage and just, I think, spun out under the safety car, and that set the tone for the rest of the race. Cal the GOAT, of course, tragic race today. He was in 2nd place. He was doing really, really well. He qualified 3rd. He was battling with the front 3, and he just had that crash in front of Hennes in the final laps that DNF'd his car. But thank you so much for watching. That's been the BRL PC Tier 1 Japanese Grand Prix. I was Jeb, and this has been a fantastic race. I hope to see you all next week.